on 722-8338 or send an email to pa@1037thebeat.com.
The moment has arrived, 3:32 in the city. He's in the studio. He is smiling. He's smiling. Of course, as promised, our interview with Reverend James Mannings. You've seen him on Fox News. Love him or hate him, one or the other. You got to decide. We got him on radio for you can make your opinion. Reverend James Mannings today, sir.
I'm just fine. Thank you for having me on your show today.
It's a great opportunity to have this dialogue, which, of course, you have been very popular on Sean Hannity's show, Hannity and Combs.
I was on that news show some time ago.
Yes, and you becoming very popular on YouTube about some of the comments you made about election. I want to go back and tell our audience about Reverend James Mannings.
Well, I've been a pastor in the community of Harlem for 27 years, where our church is on 123rd Street, just 2 blocks away from where former President Clinton put his office on 125th Street. I've been trying to work in this community to restore the people to their rightful place. I believe that God has ordained for them from the beginning of time. I have been through the crack epidemic, the drug epidemic, the time when Harlem was a broken down, dilapidated eyesore to the world. Our church and ministry has literally, without exaggeration, fed hundreds of thousands of hot meals to people, given out large bags of food. We've ran shelters for the homeless women and families, and I've baptized at least 100 people I know that have AIDS or had AIDS. We've seen a large number of them healed and delivered. We've seen one Methodist preacher who had been put out of his church and was in one of our evangelism meetings with a crack pipe in his pocket, and while I was preaching, ran down the aisle and threw it on the altar and wanted to be saved. And so we've been working here in the community. Primarily, we've been trying to change the mindset of the black nation to where they are and what their priorities ought to be, and a number of things, which has caused us to be in conflict with the general cadre and mindset of black leaders today. We've taken a different point of view, a biblical, God-centered point of view. It caused us a little bit of friction, but we're going forward nonetheless.
Who've been some of your mentors as a pastor?
Well, I appreciate the work of Adam Clayton Powell Jr. I do. I appreciate the work of Malcolm X for various reasons, and I appreciate the organizing strength of people like Marcus Garvey. And when I was in seminary some time ago, going back several years, a few decades, but I really used to enjoy the preaching of Dr. James Forbes. He was my homiletics professor when I was there. And during those years, I was very fond of the preaching of Dr. Gardner Taylor at the Concord Baptist Church in Brooklyn, and some others as well. I don't know if I've moved away from that or whether they've moved away from me.
Right. And of course, some of the statements you made on TV has really raised the eyebrows and kind of like alerted some African Americans. Some of your comments that I've seen on YouTube said that don't let the Negroes into the White House. You want to elaborate on how that goes into your philosophy of being a pastor, and how Marcus Garvey, a person who talked about racial equality and racial harmony, and now you preach that don't let that Negro into the White House?
Well, I think that what I was saying was don't let Negroes into the White House, and that was a statement where I was trying to express that we, and then of course I explained my use of the term Negroes, but having done that, we as a people, we are not ready for that kind of leadership position as a group of people in terms of what it would do for our understanding. We have some major problems going on in our community with in terms of our social and economic development. We're at the bottom of the world's social register. I mean, if you look across the globe and look at peoples and the different kindreds and tongues, we come in last. And it is a horrendous thought that somehow or another that we should be leading the world's greatest nation. Now, I'm not saying that we cannot. I think we got our priorities wrong. We need to work on our own individual people as a group, as a nation, and then from there we might want to present one of our candidates to be a president. But of course, Barack is half white anyway, so he doesn't really represent us in a total sense.
Now, and that's another thing, and I think you want to elaborate on this, because you called his mom trash, you called his dad, who's from Kenya, after you called him a whore. Can you explain?
No, I never called him a whore. No.
He's a dog.
I went a whoring after that. Yes, I did.
Whoring after that, right. Yes. Now, can you elaborate how that relates to and how you come to that conclusion that his mom is trash and that his daddy was, is whoring?
Well, as I've stated from the outset over the last couple of months, I've got documented proof that his mama was trash. There's no doubt about that. I've also tried to explain to people that I don't think that all white people are trash, far be it for me to think that. But there has been a designation for people who are below social, moral, ethic standing, that they are considered to be trash. There are some people who are criminals. There are some people who are liars because of their social position. Trash is a designation that was given on us other than me. But I have documented proof that she is that. Now, as for his father,
to me, that kind of contradicts what you were saying, because you were just saying black people as a group are on the lowest part of the social class. So calling all black people trash as well.
No, I didn't call all black people trash. I haven't said that. No, I never said that.
You haven't said that, but your analogy, a reason why you call her trash,
yeah. You just stated that black people are in the world on the basically the bottom of the totem pole.
Well, I would want you to give me the leave to understand there are some exceptions that we need to appreciate. I think that what has been the general way that white folk have looked at black folk in a degrading way, in considering who we are, they've called us niggers. And the term that black folk and white folk have used for degraded white people who haven't met a certain standard, moral, social standard, is that they call them trash. And but I think when you look generally as we as a group of people, we have some black folk, perhaps like yourself, that are doing extremely well. But for the most part, we aren't seen as all doing well. We're seen as doing bad. So no, I wouldn't agree with that at all.
Would you think that your mentor, Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X, do you think that they would have called Barack Obama's mom white trash and his daddy as being someone who was whoring when he married this lady?
Well, in earlier days, Malcolm may have called Barack Obama's mama the devil, and some of his colleagues would probably still call her that today. And in the understanding of both Marcus and Malcolm, the idea that an African man marrying a white woman would be frowned upon in that regard. Now, I'm not the one who would do that, but I think answering your question, yes, they would. Adam would have a different perspective, of course. But yeah, I think the strongest language would be that of a devil, because for many years, Malcolm and his group called white people devils. I haven't gone that far.
And going into that as well, you said that Barack was trash because he was born of trash.
That's right. Yeah, I did say that.
So, I mean, how is that? He cannot control that, but he does not have to live up to that standard of being trash. He can surpass that.
Yeah, anyone can distinguish themselves from their genesis. You don't have to remain what. I'm an ex-convict. I don't know if you know that. Maybe you do. You don't.
Yeah, we knew. I was going to ask you about that. You messed up my question.
But I've tried hard to distinguish myself from that lifestyle I had several years ago. I don't know how far I've gotten away from it, but I'm a little bit away from it. Yeah, sure. People can distinguish themselves from their genesis, but my statement was that he was born trash, and he was. His mother. And again, I have documented proof. I'm not willing to submit that just yet. Right. But his mother was a trashy white woman, no doubt about it. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And not only that, friend, but he was born a bastard. His mother and father never got married. I mean, I know that people are saying they were married, and I'm not sure exactly what they've done there in Honolulu or Maui or wherever it was that they say that divorce papers were filed. But his father was already married to somebody else in Kenya. In my book, if you're already married, you can't marry somebody here in America. So,
but he was born
not only trash, but he was born a bastard.